Now let us discuss about the venous drainage of scalp. I have drawn this diagram showing the venous drainage of the scalp. As you can see in this diagram, I have drawn supraorbital vein, supratrochlear vein, this is superficial temporal vein, this is maxillary vein, this is external jugular vein, this is occipital vein. So first of all, let us discuss about the supratrochlear and supraorbital vein. This is supraorbital vein, this one, and this is supratrochlear vein. Both these veins unite at the median margin of the orbit to form the facial vein. So both these veins unite at the medial margin of the eye to form the facial vein. Now let us discuss about superficial temporal vein. This is superficial temporal vein. Superficial temporal vein unites with the maxillary vein, okay, in over the parotid gland to form the retromandibular vein. Okay. So superficial temporal vein and maxillary vein unite to form the retromandibular vein. Then comes posterior auricular vein. I haven't labeled the posterior auricular vein. This is posterior auricular vein. As you can see in this diagram, posterior auricular vein unites with the posterior division of the retromandibular vein just below the parotid gland. Okay, just below the parotid gland, posterior auricular vein unites with the retromandibular vein and they form the external jugular vein. This is external jugular vein. Then comes occipital vein. Occipital vein, as you can see in this diagram, drains into the suboccipital venous plexus. This is suboccipital venous plexus. As you can see in this diagram, this is suboccipital venous plexus. Occipital vein drains into the suboccipital venous plexus, and further suboccipital venous plexus drains into the vertebral vein and internal jugular vein. The veins of the scalp anastomose with one another and also is connected to the diploic vein and intracranial venous sinuses by the emissary veins. So these veins freely anastomose with one another and also connected to the diploic vein and intracranial venous sinuses by the emissary veins. Let us discuss about the lymphatic drainage of the scalp of skull. As you can see in this diagram, I have shown some lymph nodes, which are preauricular lymph node, occipital lymph node, mastoid lymph node, and submandibular lymph node. So first of all, let us discuss about lymph vessels in the anterior part of the scalp, and the forehead drains into the submandibular lymph nodes. So lymph vessels in the anterior part of the scalp and the forehead, they drains into the submandibular lymph nodes. Drainage from the lateral part of the skull is scalp above the ear is into the superficial parotid lymph node, or it is also called preauricular lymph node. So lymphatic drainage above the ear is into the preauricular lymph nodes. Lymph vessels in the scalp above and behind the ear, it drains into the mastoid lymph nodes. And finally, vessels in the back of the scalp basically drain into the occipital lymph nodes. So this is the lymphatic drainage of the scalp of the skull. Again, I am repeating again, the lymph vessels in the anterior part of the scalp and forehead drain into the submandibular lymph node. Drainage from the lateral part of the scalp above the ear into the preauricular lymph node. Lymph vessels above and behind the ear is into the mastoid lymph nodes, and finally the vessels at the back of the scalp, they drain into the occipital lymph nodes.